To the Ordinary Council meeting of the 21st of May 2025. I declare this meeting open at 10 a.m. and I'd like to advise attendees that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. I'd now like to introduce Grace from Marsden State High School to do the Acknowledgement of Country.
Good morning. I would like to acknowledge and pay respects to the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, the Gudjigan and Yagara people. They have paved the way for the future through their stories, traditions and culture, and have instilled hope for all generations to come. I'd like to extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. We honour their deep connection to country and community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grace. She stepped in at short notice to help out due to some other challenges we had this morning, and she's going to have to duck off very quickly because she diligently wants to spend all morning at school. I'm impressed on many levels. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And I would like to now introduce Thea Tunsoe from the Jehovah Jireh Church in Bethania to open the meeting with a reflection of prayer. Well, it says Bethania here. I thought it was a bit strange that you'd invited Division 6 pastor to come in. Thanks, Thea. Take it away.
No worries.
And can you all please rise while he gives us his reflection?
It is my absolute privilege to be attending here at the council meeting in this very building. I just want to say thank you to Councillor Paul Jackson for this delighted invitation and to be able to walk alongside with you doing great things. And yes, thank you very much, Mayor John Raven, for this wonderful opportunity. I would like to say, encourage you to say this, that, you know, when we read Romans 13, God has appointed you to be in authority to do good things for the people, even in difficult times. So I really want to pray for everyone here today. Let's bow our heads. Dear God Almighty, you deserve our honor and respect in every situation, and we tremble at the thought of your glory and power. We ask that you will reveal your honor and glory to our leaders in a most profound way. We pray that our leaders will have guidable minds, a strong sense of public service, a peacemaker's heart, a desire to follow the law of love, and abiding faith in you. Grant our leaders divine wisdom to make decisions that are just, compassionate, and true. Let their hearts be guided not by fear or pride, but by truth and love. May they discern what is right even when it is not popular, and lead with courage in times of uncertainties. Give them clarity when the path is unclear, and peace when the burden is heavy. We pray that every leader walks in integrity and uprightness. May they stand firm in their values, even when tested by power or temptation. Strengthen their character and keep them from corruptions and compromise. Surround them with wise counselors and shield them from harms and deceit. Let their leadership be a reflection of your truth and justice. Remind our leaders that leadership is service. May they lead with humility, seek the goods of others before themselves, and listen with compassion. Let them be instruments of healing, unity, and restoration in their communities. As Christ served, may they serve faithfully, selflessly, and with purpose. Oh God, rise up leaders who will build bridges instead of walls, who will unify instead of divide in a world of conflicts and chaos. Let them be peacemakers. Breathe your spirit into their hearts that they may lead with empathy and grace. May your words heal wounds and their actions bring people together. When storms rage and the weight is unbearable, be the strength of our leaders. Let them rise to encourage, not shrinking from hard calls. Steady their hands, still their fears, and ignite hope in their spirit. Remind them that they are never alone, that you go before them, behind them, and within them. I pray all these things in the name above all names. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. Theo, you're welcome to stay with us for the meeting if you want to, but we know that you're very busy and we're deeply appreciative of those kind words and prayers that you've spoken for us today. Councillors, I'll now move to attendances and leaves of absence, and I note that Councillor Bennon has requested a leave of absence for today's meeting. That leave of absence is on the screen today with the reason being provided that he is ill. Can someone move that for me, please? Thank you, Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor St Ledger. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move to condolences. Do any councillors have any condolences they wish to raise today? No? We will, however, rise in a moment of reflection in honour of those who have gone before us and in support of those who they have left behind. Please stand if you're able and join me in a moment of quiet reflection. Thank you. You may be seated. I now open the floor to congratulations. Do any councillors have congratulations requests today? Councillor Bradley? Councillor Lane?
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. I rise today to talk about 60 years of marriage. I've only been married for a couple of years and my husband's already talking about life insurances and things like that. So when someone is actually celebrating 60 years of wedded bliss, I think it's worth a shout out. So to Colin and Suzanne Curtis, congratulations on your 60th wedding anniversary on the 21st of May. They originally married in Wynnum and now live in Kingston. They're amazing residents. They've raised their family here. And we wish them many more years of wedded bliss. The second one that I have is Jake Moss. He's a local kid that grew up in hard times. His mother saved, scrimped, sent him to a private school, really embarrassed about where he grew up. And for years he struggled with how to reach out and say he's proudly from Logan and specifically from Woodridge. And on Saturday night he had a ripper of a gallery showing on a private train from Roma Street Station to Woodridge Station with just over 100 people coming along to view his artwork. And his artwork's really, it's not something that I'd potentially hang on the wall at home, but it's really edgy and super cool and quite quirky. So if there's an opportunity for people to jump down and jump on his page and go and have a look at his stuff and maybe support a local artist and purchase some, that would be absolutely magic. He's a talented young man who is now just spruiking the wonders that is Woodridge and Logan. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate two individuals and groups from my area who took out the gongs at the Volunteers Awards, the Logan City SES, which is located in Garfield Road, and also Carleen from Logan City Netball Association for the Volunteer of the Award. Every volunteer in our community works really hard for their local area, and they do so because they have a passion for giving back to the community. So all of the councillors were so proud of the individuals from their area, and as they should be. We're a wonderful city filled with wonderful people who do good things. That's it.
Hear, hear, Councillor Lane. Councillor Russell. Councillor St Ledger. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you. Couple of good ones for me to celebrate this month. Haneli Ladigan launched her first book last month. It's called Unshakable. It's a fantastic read of common sense, practical tips for building a resilient life. I want to give you a couple of tips from the book, a few highlights that I made.
I need as many tips as possible,
Here it
Councillor
comes.
Jackson.
These are rippers. You don't control what happens, but you absolutely control what it means. Create stimulus, space, response. Emotional sovereignty means accepting full responsibility for your internal world. Self-control gives you the space to choose your tone, timing, and method. You still take action, but you just do it from a place of clarity and not chaos. It goes on. I got truckloads of highlights from this book. I'd recommend it. You can grab it from Amazon, but excellent Div 5 resident. The second is Crestmead Supersonics. They competed in the state championships up in Bundaberg at the start of this month. This club's only been going, so like it started off as a lunchtime program for skipping, if you didn't know what the Supersonics did. Skipping, and they took heaps of medals home last year at the Nationals, and they'd only been going for like 12 months at the time. They went to the States. Out of the 96 medals that were available, they took home 69. The 28 competitors, 23 got medals. They're now going to the Nationals in the next few weeks, which is just up the road at Nissan Arena. So that's going to be awesome. And 8 of these students were selected for the Australian team going to the Worlds in Japan next month. So fantastic. Crestmead Supersonics to Deb and the team that have been running that and now created an actual incorporated club so it can function outside of school hours. Awesome job. We love you.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. If you could turn your microphone off, I'll congratulate you on that too. Perfect. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to send congratulations to Najina Amadi, who is currently a Year 11 student at Logan Lee State High School, who has just recently been selected to represent Queensland at the 2025 United Nations National Youth Conference taking place in Adelaide this July. She's a student chosen from Queensland, and this is a tremendous honour to serve as a delegate for our state and particularly for the Logan community. This person's also looking for any funding or support that they could get from the community, so a big shout out to them, and if anyone can help support, please do.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Fraser, Councillor Jeremiah, Councillor Stemp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask that congratulations be passed on to Blocktex for recently winning the Banksia Gold Award and the Circular Economy Award at the 36th Banksia National Sustainability Awards held in Melbourne. The Banksia Gold Award, the major award of the night, recognised Blocktex for their world-first solution to tackle a huge problem of how to recycle clothes made from a mix of polyester and cotton, and for leading the way in making the fashion and textile industry circular. The Banksia Awards shine a spotlight on those redefining best practices and championing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Mr. Mayor, as you know, Graham and Adrian are incredible advocates for the City of Logan and pioneers for new technologies with a passion for the environment and creating a circular economy within the textile and fashion industry to reduce textile waste both now and for the future. They should be very proud of all they achieved, and I look forward to seeing what they do next. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stemp. Those congratulations will be forwarded. Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you very much and good morning, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to take a moment this morning to shine a spotlight on 3 remarkable young ladies from our local community this morning. Recently, I had Bella Sheridan from Flagstone, Neve Kerrigan from Newbeath, and Jasmine Svahik from Regents Park, who all represented Australia as part of Team Australia Cheer Squad at the ICU World Cheerleading Championships in Orlando, of all places. Mr. Mayor, I know you had the pleasure of meeting these girls last week to personally congratulate them on their achievement, and I'd like to echo that sentiment here today. These girls are aged as 14 and 15. They weren't eligible for any funding because unfortunately cheer doesn't get a lot of funding, so they fundraised all themselves to get them to the world stage, and what a result they had. They achieved gold in their group, competing against 28 countries. I'd also like to give a nod to the parents who accompanied them. I watched on Facebook and it was quite interesting to watch what they got up to, and I've been friends with one of those parents for over a decade now, so I can say with confidence they were probably having just as much fun as the girls, if not more. The team spent around 2 weeks overseas in the States, not only competing but enjoying some well-earned sightseeing that they had, and after all, when you win gold, I think it's a pretty deserved celebration that they have. So I'd like to take a moment to cheer Bella, Neve and Jasmine on not just their gold medal performance but representing their country and Logan City very proudly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wilcox. That will be done. And what makes their accomplishment even more amazing is that the Australian team had only trained together twice before they went over and beat the world, which shows you if they had a more focused cheer program or organised cheer program across the country, they'd be able to do even better year on year. Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lucky last. Today I rise to thank the Club of Rotary of Beenleigh. Over the last 2 weekends of May, they have produced yet another successful cane parade through the city of Beenleigh and a gala ball on Saturday night. This brings a lot of volunteers together, and we've celebrated volunteers this week. I believe there was 37,000 in Logan, and they're all better looking, right, Mr. Mayor? So,
I'm glad you recognise that.
Absolutely. So thank you to the Club of Rotary Beenleigh for their work on the parade, which had 50 floats. They recognised the best categories, and then they had a family-free day at the showgrounds for everybody to celebrate. And it's exactly what Logan wants in this community, is those 3 days where people can come together. Then we put our glam on Saturday, and the business community came out and celebrated the ball and raised well-earned money and important money for Nightlight, who do amazing work with our community and help those that need help. Mr Mayor and the Mayoress was there, Councillor Russell was there, Councillor Bradley was there, and myself, and it was an amazing night. I learned tonight how much they actually raised, but it will be in the thousands of dollars for that charity. So if you could please pass on congratulations to them yet again. Thank you.
Very happy to, and I'd also like to add my congratulations and thanks to the events team and the LEC team that hosted the Volunteers Awards on Saturday morning. It was fantastic. The feedback has been amazing, including about the breakfast, Brad. So if you can pass on my compliments to the chef, that would be awesome. People were even impressed with the councillors and elected members who delivered the food. No food was spilt this year. There was a little bit of feedback last year that one of us spilt. I know it wasn't Councillor Stemp, despite people suspecting it was her. And I actually don't think it was any of our councillors. I suspect it may have been a state MP. That's where I'm going with this. But we will never know, because the volunteer who brought it to my attention says she is sworn to secrecy. So it'll be a mystery for the ages. But thank you to all volunteers today on National Volunteer Day, and for the amazing work that you do in our community, but also for being people who are better looking, live longer. What else we say? Smarter, more charming. Yeah, and there's 37,000 of active volunteers in Logan, which that is nearly 10% of our city's population, which is an amazing feat for a city like ours and really sets us apart from our neighbours. Councillors, thank you for those congratulations. They will be forwarded to the people you've requested. We will now move on to the confirmation of minutes of the previous ordinary council meeting. I move the minutes of that meeting held on the 16th of April to be confirmed. Is there a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Councillor Murphy. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move to declarations of conflict of interest. Do any councillors have any new conflicts of interest they wish to declare against any items on today's agenda? No? Excellent. We'll now move to business arising from those minutes, of which we have none. And move into our committee minutes and recommendations. I now refer to the special budget committee meetings held on the 17th, the 29th of April, the 17th and 29th of April, and the 15th of May. Councillor Murphy, chairperson of the special budget committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I will also note that we had a full day of meeting yesterday, but they will be in next month's committee meeting. So I'd like to speak to the recommendations, if you don't mind. Last ordinary council meeting, the special budget committee convened on those 3 occasions that you mentioned. Across these meetings, a total of 11 reports were relating to the development of council's 2025-26 budget were considered. These reports included some of those proposed recurrent budgets and capital expenditures. Ongoing discussions were had also with rates reform. Supplementary reports were presented on several key topics, including the Volunteer Fire Brigade separate charge, the Park Ridge and Recreation Precinct, beneficial enterprises and the disaster recovery. Council also considered the 25-26 investment proposals and they were submitted, as well as a number of other ratings and scenarios. The committee discussed the establishment of a new position to support delivery of the Waste Recovery Branch 10-year capital program, and additional fees and charges for the Community and Lifestyle Directorate were presented. I also wanted to extend and say thank you to the councillors for their hard work over that time. We were well ahead of the game with regards to the budget delivery, and to the staff as well, all your hard work that you put in, and thank you. We're near the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Do any other councillors wish to speak to that report? There being none, Councillor Murphy, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the recommendations of the Special Budget Committee meeting held on the 17th of April, the 29th of April and the 15th of May be adopted.
Councillor Murphy has moved the motion on the screen. Would someone like to second that motion? Thank you, Councillor Jackson. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously with the exception of Councillor Bradley. How do you vote?
Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor, I wish to abstain from the 17th of April, the 29th of April and against the 15th of May.
That will be noted. Thank you very much, Councillor Bradley. We will now move to City Infrastructure Committee meeting, which was held on the 13th of May 2025. Councillor St Ledger, Deputy Chairperson of the City Infrastructure Committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I don't think there's any need for me to speak to the recommendations today. We've done great work in the committee, and as always, the team filled us with all that information. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor St Ledger. Does anyone else wish to speak to that report? There being none, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the recommendations of the City Infrastructure Committee held on the 13th of May 2025 be adopted.
Councillor St Ledger has moved the motion on the screen. Would someone like to second that for me? Thank you, Councillor Hall. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Would anyone like to mark their names against anything in that report? Excellent. I now refer to the City Governance Committee meeting held on the 13th of May. Councillor Murphy, as chair of that committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I'd like to speak to the recommendations, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Last Tuesday, the City Governance Committee considered 11 reports. Among these were the monthly financial performance for the period ending the 31st of March 2025. My favourite report, the Local Infrastructure Program for May, was reviewed and included 3 material amendments, 1 special consideration and 17 additional projects. These new projects as the various divisions included pool uplifts, new and temporary footpaths, school bus stops, lighting, park upgrades, bins, bollards, concrete work and window tinting. Additional to the second amendment of the 2024-25 and the amendment capital program was sought. Bit of a mouthful there. Additionally, charges to the payment terms were requested, as well as the amendment to the annual contract plan. An update on the matter considered by the Audit and Risk Committee in March was also noted. Sorry, we're a busy committee. A confidential report requested entry into a lease agreement with reserve land relating to an infrastructure program was discussed. Endorsement was sought for the new compliance and enforcement policy, and amendments were requested for the terms of reference for the councillors standing the special committees, including amendments to the appointment of the deputy chairpersons of city governance and the special budget committee meeting. Lastly, an update on the operational plan and the digital transformation program were provided, detailing the Q2 performance result for both. Thank you, Mr Mayor. There was a lot in that.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Some people think governance is dry, but I think governance rocks. You've done very well to present it all to us. Would anyone else like to speak to that report? Councillor Lane.
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. On the issue of Gould Adams Park, we looked at problems for people with disabilities gaining access to the pool at Gould Adams. And it's, you know, going through a knee replacement myself, I understand exactly what some residents go through. Now, Division 2 couldn't afford to cover the costs of installing a special lift into that pool. And I just want to say I'm really grateful to Councillors Russell, Councillor Jackson and Councillor Hall, who all chipped in so that we can actually get that lift for the pool. When I went down and told some of the swans, as I call them, that it was coming, they were absolutely delighted and so very, very grateful. So again, publicly, I just want to shout you guys out, because without you, this lift would have taken a lot longer to come forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Lane, and fantastic to see councillors collaborating and working together in the interests of the community. Does anyone else wish to speak to that report? Councillor Murphy, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I echo Councillor Lane's response. It happens quite regularly. So thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the recommendations of the City Governance Committee meeting held on the 13th of May be adopted.
Councillor Murphy has moved the motion on the screen. Would someone like to second? Thank you, Councillor Jackson. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Would anyone like to mark their name against or abstain from any items on the report? Councillor Bradley.
6.3, thank you. Abstain.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. And then Councillor Jeremiah.
Against 6.3.
And then Councillor Stan.
Abstain from 6.3 also.
Thank you very much, councillors. We will now move on to the City Planning, Economic Development and Environment Committee meeting held on the 14th of May. Councillor Stemp, chairperson of that committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had 2 reports this round, and I'd like to take a moment to speak briefly to both. Item 6.1, the UN Habitat Quality of Life Initiative Outcome and Way Forward summarised Council's involvement in the Quality of Life Initiative, reported on the results of Logan's global and local layer quality of life indicators to date, and discussed ongoing efforts and relationships associated with the initiative. By participating in the pilot, Logan stands to gain many specific benefits, but most importantly, Logan will benefit from the collection and production of unique urban data to help support urban initiatives and policy formulation. Explore potential improvements in data collection and management practices, and provide opportunities for Logan to develop new partnerships with various data providers, which is highly valuable to guide decision making in Logan. Mr. Mayor, item 6.2, infrastructure charges resolution number 12, includes the latest changes indexed by state government, as well as a number of amendments to improve overall clarity and operational matters. Importantly, the increased charges will assist in mitigating the financial risk to council in delivering the trunk infrastructure included in the local government infrastructure plan. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stemp. Would anyone else like to speak to the report? There being none, you may proceed, Councillor Stemp.
Okay, thank you. I now move that the recommendations of the City Planning, Economic Development and Environment Committee meeting held on the 14th of May be adopted.
Councillor Stemp has moved the motion on the screen. Would someone like to second that motion? Thank you, Councillor Wilcox. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Would anyone else like to mark their name against or abstain from any reports? Councillor Heremiah.
Abstain 6.1.
Thank you, Councillor Heremiah. We'll now move on to City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on the 14th of May. Councillor Hall, chairperson of that committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll now speak to the recommendations. During last week's City Lifestyle Committee meeting, councillors considered 2 reports. The first outlined proposed amendments to the waste concession policy. This policy provides essential financial relief on waste collection and disposal charges for eligible charities, community organisations and state schools. These updates will continue to ensure that these organisations can continue hosting vibrant and inclusive community events. The second report provided councillors with an overview of the progress made by council during Q3, highlighting ongoing efforts to improve our community through delivery of exciting infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hall. Would any other councillors like to speak to that report? There being none, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I now move to the recommendation of the City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on the 14th of May be adopted.
Councillor Hall has moved the motion on the screen. Would someone like to second that motion? Thank you, Councillor Murphy. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Would anyone like to record their name against or abstain from any reports? Councillor Bradley?
Abstain from 6.1, thank you.
That will be noted. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to council reports, of which we have none. We also have no late reports. Do any councillors have any petitions they'd like to present? Not at this time, Councillor Bradley. And then considerations of notified motions, of which we have none. I'll now refer to general business. Today, general business will start with Division 4. Councillor St Leger, do you have any general business you'd like to raise? Councillor Jackson?
Yes, thank you. Just want to give a shout out to Sydney Blake and his team at the Crestmead 40 Plus Club for another fantastic Mother's Day event. It's a great annual event that most of the elected representatives love to be at, and a great group and committee that does a lot of hard work for the community. They're an energetic and vibrant bunch, and I really appreciate their invitation. The other is a shout out to Chris Liu Real Estate and to Logan Connect on helping me get the Pee-wee motorbike trial up and running. Having Chris's sponsorship has enabled this thing to happen, connecting it with Logan Connect as a community organisation to run the event, and the Parkridge Pony Club to giving us property to do it on. Thank you to all the parents that have been involved. It's happening again this weekend as the second of our trials, 24th from 8 till 12. Anyone who wants to come, bring your own Pee-wee motorbike, little kid, 4 to 8 year old. And we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
So you don't want me to bring my Pee-wee motorbike and try to ride? No?
No.
Got to be young. Okay, understood. Councillor Hall. Councillor Fraser. Councillor Heremiah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today I rise to share some good news. And as of 10 minutes ago, funding for the missing section on Glen Road has officially been allocated by council. Now, this has been a massive win. And the reason is because just 5 years ago, only 5 to 12 houses had a connection to the section of Glen Road. As of today, over 100 dwellings have a connection to this section of Glen Road that is missing a footpath. So families all over the area want to go explore the awesome parks and the great projects that council's delivering, but they don't have safe access. Now, I've been working with the community to identify a section in the city budget that could be used to allocate funding towards this. We grew momentum, and as of today, it's officially been allocated. It's great news, and it's an example of sometimes developers deliver footpaths, sometimes council does. In this instance, council is getting in, getting the job done and improving safety. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great work, Councillor Heremiah. I'm sure your residents will be thrilled with their new upgrade. Do you know when it's going to be delivered? Soon. Very soon. I'll now go to Councillor Stemp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last Thursday, I caught up with the wonderful ladies from Itching to Stitch over at Cornubia, and we had a party. And we celebrated 7 of the 22 ladies turning 80 this year. These ladies meet every Thursday morning over at Cornubia, where they sew, they knit, they crochet, and they make the most wonderful clothing items and toys, which they donate to charities. They're a beautiful group of ladies. They share knowledge and skills with each other, but most importantly, they share friendships. I catch up with them regularly, and I always learn something new and enjoy listening to their stories of the past. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to wish Cheryl, Cindy, Gail, Leslie, Lois, Maureen and Rose a very happy 80th birthday for this year. And I hope that they enjoy celebrating this special occasion with their friends and family. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stemp. Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I have to share how excited I was on the weekend to be at the Greenbank Giants home ground. Something special really happened there. The Giants hosted not 1, not 2, but 3 senior QAFL games at the Everleigh AFL precinct, and it all came together very last minute. Chris, the president from the Giants, got a phone call late Friday afternoon asking if the club could step in to host these games due to other ground conditions being too wet and holding too much water. Without hesitation, he jumped into action late Friday afternoon to make it all happen. I think I got a text message at about 4 o'clock from QAFL going, hey, this is happening tomorrow, and I very quickly shared it. It was a spectacular day. The morning kicked off with the Giants' own junior games being held at the ground, and then from 11 a.m, the precinct was absolutely buzzing. First came the reserve grade game, followed by seniors, and finally Colts in the late afternoon evening under lights. It was a full day of footy, and hundreds of people came out to watch, support and soak up the atmosphere. Well done to Redland Victoria Point Sharks Football Club and Aspley Hornets, who jokingly needed a cut lunch to get to the grounds, but that's okay. I spent 6 hours at the grounds, so I went from the volunteers breakfast straight out to the footy fields. But I didn't just watch, I absolutely soaked it up. I chatted with spectators, players, umpires, cafe patrons, everyone was there. But I also rolled up my sleeves and pitched in. I sold raffle tickets with Chris. I restocked the toilet paper, I swept the floors because everyone stomped their chips into the floors and it drove me bonkers, and I picked up the rubbish. You name it, I got into it, and I loved every minute of it. Everyone was so impressed with the grounds. It was really great. People were impressed not just by the grounds, but by how well the facility held up, meaning the fields, and the drainage. It was amazing. I walked through the Colts boys, they were last on the field. I walked through the Colts boys at one stage, and they were like, look at the fields, they don't even look wet. And I'm like, I know, how good is the drainage? And they're all looking at me going, what on earth is going on with this woman? But anyway, I was like literally buzzing. I want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to Lisa and Mitch from QAFL for trusting Chris and the Giants to host these games. It was a big ask on short notice, but the club delivered in spades. This weekend was a perfect example of what can be achieved when developers, council, local clubs and sporting organisations work together to deliver these things. It's not just about sport in that community, it's about community, collaboration and creating spaces where people can come together and thrive, and that weekend was magic. Thank you.
It was fantastic, and it shows what a massive reputation piece that sport is. On Sunday night, I had people coming up to me who were at that game going, we were down at the Quaffle Games at Everleigh, how amazing is that field? And I said, well, it's the same dimensions as the MCG, but it drains better. That's why they could play on that field. So it shows when you do go that extra mile and do excellence, you can do amazing things. Is there something else you want to add to that? Because I've reminded you, Councillor Wilcox.
I did get some stats. One of the senior boys ran 13 Ks. He came off the field going, oh my gosh, I'm spent, because he ran 13 Ks, got all the stats and all of that. And I was like, it's MCG size, mate. And he's like, what? So they loved it. Everyone loved it. So thank you.
The biggest question I got asked is when are we going to have our own Quaffle team? And because, if Aspley, a place that's so far away that you need a cut lunch to get there from anywhere, has a Quaffle team, why doesn't Logan? So we'll put that on the card, shall we, Councillor Wilcox? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Bradley. Councillor Lane.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. So some pretty cool things happened in our community just last week, which was Kingston State College went to local businesses surrounding and said, how can you help our students achieve their dreams? And they lured them in with the promise of a nice cut lunch, and quite frankly, it was fabulous. The home economics team from Kingston College and the food dudes did an amazing job. What happened was something pretty special, where businesses said, I don't know that I actually fit what you're chasing, and they've managed to make connections nonetheless. We heard from a young girl who found herself homeless, a student who found herself homeless, and if it wasn't for the sponsorship of a business, she wouldn't have finished her education. She's now studying psych at university. So amazing stories, amazing connections. And then Friday night I joined Councillor Jackson and Councillor Russell at the Scripture Union event, where our local schools who have chappies came together in a big fundraiser. And it was a pretty cool night. There was not a dull moment. In fact, you couldn't actually have a conversation because there was so much happening in the room, and it was super cool. And it's led by our chappies who do such a wonderful work in our local schools with our local kids and parents. Now, coming up in Division 2, the heart of Logan, we've always got something happening. On Wednesday, the 28th of May, the Tenacity Domestic and Family Violence event is happening at Logan Gardens from 10 a.m. It's absolutely free. Learnercraft is celebrating their 48th birthday, and I know that you'll most likely be there, Mr. Mayor. Hopefully some other councillors will call in to the Senior Centre just out the front of council and help them celebrate on the day. Friday the 30th of May, Amputees is having a cuppa and a craft where it's alleged that a councillor is going to teach some old people how to paint, which is going to be a lot of fun and really, really messy. So lots of fun coming up. On Sunday the 1st of June, Samoa is celebrating the Independence Day with a service at St. Paul's. And then the 7th of June, our Filipino community is celebrating Bayanihan Day. And I know that they always give me this jacket to put on, and it's the size of a Filipino woman, so it never fits, but the intention is really good. The Mayor and I head along to that, and I'd encourage other councillors and the wider community to do it. It's on at the Kingston Butter Factory, and it will be a lot of fun. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Russell. I'd like to finish general business by asking a very special member of our staff, who I've asked to come into the room, to stand up for me, please, so I can embarrass him. This is Tony Burfield, and you all know him as the friendly smile that greets you as he moves around the building and makes sure that everyone is secure and safe. He's part of our maintenance and security team. He has worked with council or for council for 14 years. He's done an amazing job in that time, and this is his last ordinary council meeting. He's retiring on Friday, and that little smile on his face indicates that it's not too soon. But I just wanted to thank you, Tony, for your service to the community and to this council. It is greatly appreciated, and you've been an amazing and diligent servant to our community. Thank you so much. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Perfect. No, you're an absolute legend, mate. Well done. Well done. And he was a little bit nervous when we asked him to come in, because I think the Chief of Staff may have said, we're expecting trouble. Can you come sit in on this meeting for us? But no trouble, just great things. Thank you, everybody. I declare the Ordinary Council meeting closed at 10:39.